G'day everyone, it's Dan from WA here. Today I'm with Jason. Everyone may know Jason as the Kilted Rogue Runner. Jason, today I'm just basically here. As you know, I like to try and show off WA a bit.
Yep.
And for yourself, I know you've actually brought your family from the UK.
That's right.
How long ago was that?
12 years ago now.
Ooh, geez.
Yeah, 12 years, and we love it that much. We still haven't been back to the UK yet. So migrated 12 years ago, and there's still so much I want to explore here before going back that way.
Okay. And what made you, pick up your family and bring them all the way here?
It kind of goes back to my childhood. I lived second time migration for me. So in the late 70s, my parents brought my sisters and I over to Adelaide. So we lived there for a while, and had a fantastic lifestyle then. Unfortunately, my mum couldn't settle. She was very homesick, missing her family. So we ended up moving back. But for me, it left a real indelible mark on me. Such really fond childhood memories. The weather, the lifestyle, the country itself, and I always wanted to come back. So fast forward quite a few years later, and when I was a police officer in the UK, at the time both Australia and New Zealand were advertising. They had quite a strong international recruitment drive of police officers, and I saw an advertisement in a paper for New Zealand initially, and interestingly enough, we'd seen this documentary on a particular gang in New Zealand, and me being the police officer was at the time, my wife's like, "No, we're not going to New Zealand, they've got gangs there." Unbeknown to her, there's gangs here in Australia too. But she said, "Well, let's have a look at Australia." So we did, and 11 months later we arrived here, and we've been here ever since.
One of the reasons I've asked you to talk for me on my program is because you do a lot of outdoor activities, in particular running. What's it about running that sort of gets you motivated to do things?
Oh, look, I've been a distance runner on and off for 30 years really, but moving here and the weather just gives you that opportunity more all year round. Even winter, even though I think winter here is freezing now, but compared to what I was used to in the UK, it's relatively warm. So I can do it all year round. But more recently, I suppose over the last 10 years, it's a real strong therapy focus for me. I live with post-traumatic stress disorder and depression. After I attempted suicide in 2008, I turned to running as a way of helping my recovery. And since then, I've been going ever since, and now I've got 22 marathons under my belt. And 22. Yeah, and it's for me as well. It's a way to explore, not just your neighbourhood, but to actually realise, even though we live in suburbia at Perth, I live north of Perth, there are actually some beautiful bush trails not far from me, which I run quite often. And although I run some of those trails year round, they change with the seasons. When the wildflowers are out, or even in the winter when things are a lot greener and lush. So it's kind of another way of connecting back with nature as well.
Brilliant. Now, to do with your running, you've actually, with a couple of other mates, you've set up a group.
Yeah, myself and three other mates back in 2011 founded the Rogue Runners Club Australia here in Perth, essentially to just bring together people to a free to join running community based on family, fitness, fun, and to do some fundraising to give back to the community as well. So we've been going since it'll be our 7th year this year, and in that time we've managed to raise over $75,000 for charity along the way. So and now we've got 120 members from the 4 that we had originally.
Now I know at the moment you're the groups associated with the Sounds of Siren, the Sirens of Silence.
That's correct. Yeah.
Charity. What's that about?
It's something that was close to not just my heart, but 3 of the 4 founder members of the Running Club are ex-police officers. And after living with my own mental health issues, or what I like to call mental fitness issues, to put more of a positive spin on things, but and also on top of that, 2 years ago my daughter attempted suicide twice in a short space of time, and that moment after Holly attempted suicide, it was a real monumental shift in me in what we need to do to help. But also around that time, WA had quite a dramatic increase in suicides through emergency service workers. So I think it was 4 paramedics and 2 police officers in like a 12-month period. So Sirens was born by Lynn and Ian Sinclair out of Broome in northwest WA, who were both paramedics at the time, and they were moved, as many of us were, by this issue where guys in those services, guys and girls in those services were slipping through the net of those safety services within the services themselves. So they wanted to kind of plug that gap, the net, or at least provide another backstop. And that's how it was born in late 2014, early 2015. So they were only going for about a year, and we were coming to the end of our yearly fundraising cycle. Through what we'd learned with the club, we decided, rather than reinventing every year for a new charity, we were going to find one charity that we could resonate with and we could stick with long term. And we came across Sirens, and as I said, 3 of the 4 founding members were ex-coppers, so it just fitted, perfectly. And a lot of our running club members are emergency service workers and ex-military and the like. So Sirens, as I said, was plugging that gap to provide. Well, the main mission for Sirens is to engage in this cultural change conversation, so that people in emergency services who might be doing it tough, and their families, feel comfortable and confident enough to have the conversation about mental health issues. And hopefully provide some education and some financial backing to those people that are really struggling at the time. So that's how Sirens come about, and yeah, we joined with them about 18 months ago, and now I'm vice president of the charity as well. So, which I'm really proud of, and they're doing some really great things and providing some really, really essential services, right from not just from an educational point of view, to raise awareness around suicide prevention and depression, PTSD and anxiety, but they provide that external peer support network to the services themselves. But also we actually provide financial grants to our members. So it's free to join as a member, so you can be serving or a former emergency service worker.
Well, they're a charity as well, and I believe you've set yourself up another task to this year.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Well, if running marathons wasn't loopy enough, I wanted to do something different, not just to help with the fundraising and raising awareness, but also something I wanted to challenge myself with. Not saying that running marathons isn't a challenge, but once you've done them a few times, you can get into that cycle of training. You know you can do the distance, so it's just a case of doing the hard yards. This year, I thought I'd do something different, so I chose to swim the Lake Argyll 20k solo swim just south of Connemara there, up in the north of the state. So I'm under training now, So 5th of May I'll be jumping in the water. Lake Argyll, which is home, I believe, to about 35,000 freshwater crocodiles. And I'll be swimming for about 5.5 hours.
Okay.
And the aim, most importantly, is to keep that conversation going and raise awareness. But financially, I'm aiming to raise $20,000 at the centre.
Brilliant.
So we'll see how we go.
Excellent. Well, guys, Jason certainly does put a lot of effort back into the community for particularly mental health. But I'd encourage everyone, what I'll do is I'll put Jason's page up so that everyone can have a chance to donate, but also just to see what sort of work Jason does for the community. You know, it's focused mainly on the emergency services, but it is wider. Certainly mental health within WA is one of those things that we're looking at to improve. So certainly look at Jason's page. If you've got some money, please donate for sirens. Then, you know, at least we're getting benefits straight back into the community. This is an important conversation that everyone needs to take a look at and talk with your friends, with your family. So hopefully you guys will at least have some contacts that you can turn to if you're sort of in that journey where you need some help.
So true, mate. You know, it's okay not to be okay, and more importantly, there really is a lot of support services out there, and there are a lot of free support services out there. So when people think they're worried about putting their hand up and seeking help, just do it. It doesn't matter where you get the help, just get the help. And Dan posts my links as part of this video. If anyone needs some advice or guidance on which direction to turn, please send me a message and I'm more than happy to help.
Thank you very much, Jason.
Thanks, Dan, for having me. It's been a pleasure, mate.
No problems. And don't forget, guys, if you enjoy this YouTube channel, please subscribe and share.